Welcome to the Hands-on Art Ceramic Painting tutorial presented by Ambrosia. This is available in PDF format if it's easier for you to follow and will be available in the studio. Gather your materials and we can begin. We'll begin by wiping down the bowl with a wet sponge, just to take off any dust. Then we will begin tracing the image onto tissue paper with a pencil. I chose to only trace the inner lines. I didn't really need the seeds. Then I cut out the image so that it was easier to place inside of the bowl. Now it's okay for those areas to overlap. As you can see, I kind of just squished it in there. And then I'm only really tracing that bottom portion and then finishing off the surface area once I've taken the tissue paper off. I'm using the line of the bowl to create that outer edge and kind of keeping my pen in the same area and twisting the bowl to create that straight line. We'll begin with the lightest green color to paint in the kind of outside area of that lime. And remember, we want 2 to 3 coats per color of every single color. Then once that's done, we're going to go in with our next green color and paint in the lime area where kind of the pulp would be. Then once we're done with that, we'll do the edge of the bowl with that same green color. Now we'll be creating the texture on the inside of each lime. So you'll see I'm just kind of dabbing the brush onto the bowl, kind of creating a water droplet effect, but I'm not filling it in all the way. I'm kind of making it sporadic as I go up because we'll be filling that in with a darker color and we want it to have a little bit of an ombre effect. Now I'm going in with that darker color, moving a little bit faster so they're looking a little longer instead of fatter. You'll get the hang of it as you've done the first few. It'll get easier as you go. Now if you accidentally drip onto an area that you don't want there to be any paint, you can just grab a wet sponge and wipe it off and kind of paint over that area, whatever needs to be fixed. Now I'm going in with a yellow color just to add a little bit of accents. It doesn't have to be exactly in the same areas that I'm placing it, just wherever you feel would look nice for those kind of pulpy area. Now we're going to be starting to paint the outside of the bowl, so it'll be easier to kind of paint that edge first before we flip it over and paint it on the little turntable. So here I'm flipping it over, putting it on the turntable so that it's easier to paint the rest of it. I'm going in with a darker color so that we can do that same ombre effect on the outside. And now with the darkest green color, we're just painting the end of the bowl here. And as final touch, we are adding a liner. Now this part is always tedious, so you just want to go slow and be patient with yourself. I'm using a very thin liner brush, but it's important, to be constantly dipping your brush into new fresh paint. If it dries out, there isn't enough paint, it won't glide on as you expect it to, and it'll get kind of stuck midway. Now keep in mind the entire thing doesn't need to be outlined. You can use your creativity and outline the areas that need most impact, like maybe just the inner sections where all of the petals meet, or just like the outer outline. You can use a fun writer, you know, whatever is easiest for you. Here I'm outlining that little edge of the bowl. And then I do use a fun writer to add little dots. Then we grab the darkest fun writer green color and we just kind of fill in that texture on the outside just to make it pop a little bit more and give it a little bit more contrast. And there we have it. This is our completed painted project. It turned out so good. I love how vibrant the colors are. And thank you so much for following along. This bowl is actually a part of a set with a lemonade pitcher and a plate. So definitely follow along with those other videos if you'd like to complete the set. Thank you again.